Welcome to today's tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be discussing about colors in CSS. How can you make use of colors in CSS? CSS are specified using predefined colors. You can make use of the color by their names or through the RGB or through the RGBA or through the X color system or through the HSL, which is the hue, saturation and lightness, then through the HSLA, hue, saturation, lightness and alpha. So today we'll be discussing about the color names. So we'll be using the color names for today's tutorial. So mind you, each CSS supports more than more than 120 standard colors name. More than 120 standard colors name. So let me start. Let me show you. So we are going to start using the names. For example, let me say H4, which is, let me just name it my website. So now let me go to my CSS. Sorry, let me cancel this from our previous tutorial. Oh, sorry about this. Let me quickly remove this. So let me change the color property of my H4. So now my H4, which is here, my website, or preferably, sorry, let me use Lorem to generate something so that it will be much, so that we can be able to understand better. Okay, now I'm having this. So let me say my H4 will be this, and let me say color. Now, using the name, I can type the name of the color direct. For example, if I want to change the color to green, I can type color green. You see the colors change to green. For example, if I want to make it yellow, I can type color yellow. You see it becomes yellow. If I want to make it red, I can type color red. You see we are having red. So I can change the color to anything. Just name it any color that I wish to. You understand? Just by typing the name of the color. You understand? So that's how you can make use of the number one. Let me make it green. So that's how we can make use of the number one method. So now the RGB method, which is the other part of changing our color in HTML. So I can say RGB. Now, what does RGB means? RGB means red, green, blue. Now you see it means red, green, blue. Now I'm going to use some numbers to specify how the color should look like. Let me use some number to specify how the color should look like. Now let me say 120. Trying to mix out the color. Let me say 225. and let me say 71. Now you see this is the color we arrive at. This is the color we arrive at. So this means that why are we having the color to be more of green? It means that, I said RGB means red, green, blue. It means that this 225 here is representing green. So green has the highest value. So the color will be more of green. Now let me reduce the value of green to, like, let me say 4. Now you see the color will be more of red. You know why? Because red has the highest value. You understand? So now let me reduce more of blue. Let me say blue should be 0. Sorry, let me say blue should be 0. I don't want to have any blue. Now you see what I'm having now. Now you see the color is more of red. You understand? Because red has the highest value. So now let me quickly move down to the RGBA. So now let me just add A. The A, which is the alpha. You understand? The alpha, which means the lightness. You understand? So let me add 120, comma, let me add 9. Now you see the color we arrive at. Now let me change this to 120. No, 120. Now you see the color we arrive at. Now you can see the color we are having. So the RGBA, which simply means red, green, blue, and alpha. The alpha is the amount of lightness, the amount of light in the color, how light you want the color to be, how visible you want the color to be. So now let me quickly change this to this. Now you see the blue has the highest color. That's why we are having this. So now let me change the alpha to 225. Now you can see by changing the alpha, you see that the color has changed. Now you see we are having, let me change the color to 0. Now you see the text is not visible because the alpha of the color is 0. You understand? So let me make it 9. You see the lightness is there, so let me make it 300. You see, but the highest you should have, let me just make it 225. So now let me increase the blue color in it. Now you see the blue have changed. So now this is how we make use of the color selection in CSS. So in this class, I'll be able to discuss how we can make use of the color by the names, the RGB, and the RGBA. So in the next class, we're going to discuss how to make use of the X color, HSL, and the HSLA color. So thank you.